Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hello everybody. We started chapter 9 last time and it starts with Sri Bhagwan Vacha. I told you it's a continuation of chapter 7. And he started with idam tute guhyatamam pravaksham anya suyave. This idam, this referring to what was told in chapter 7, where he said there is para, apara, vidya, and then there is this turiya state, which is beyond para and apara. So that turiya is what is now being referred to here in idam. So this idam is not the world or samsara or anything like that. It is the pure consciousness. Tute guhyatamam, this knowledge of the pure consciousness, which is extremely secret. And I told you the best kept secret because very few people know about it. All people know there is a God, but understand when we say know about, they don't know that God and I are one. That is the secret. God is there. That is not a secret. Everybody, some form of God or the other, they believe in a higher power. That is not the secret part here. But the best kept secret is that who is this God? Is he in the church, temple, mosque? Where is he? He's you. He's you. So you see, that is the best kept secret. That secret I'm going to tell you because you are anasuyave. Asuya, finding faults in others, being jealous of others. Dosha buddhi. But you are not like that. You do not cavil at you do not criticize my teaching. And therefore you are a fit adhikari for this knowledge. You're a qualified student because you have faith. You have faith in what I'm saying. And what am I going to tell you? What is the Vishaya? We see the Anubandha Chatushtaya in this verse itself. Jnana Vidyanam Sahitam. So Jnana I will give you Sahitam with the experience also, meaning that I will so very clearly explain this knowledge to you that you will not but have there is no choice. You will realize. That is what Bhagavan is saying. Jnana Vijnana Saitam. Jnana, knowledge, Vijnana, wisdom, understanding, recognizing that oneness with the self. And then what will happen? What will happen with that? So what? You will give me the knowledge. What is the advantage? It will release you from Ashubha, inauspiciousness. Ashubha here is that which is changing. What is changing is samsara. What is changing other than Om in our chart? Everything is changing, and change brings sorrow. Change brings discomfort. We see we are in a comfort zone. We get promoted, we get transferred, we have to move houses, we have to change cars. Anything that is bringing change in our life makes us kind of uncomfortable. So that change, that fear of change, that is what I will liberate you from forever. Moksha, this is a permanent happiness. And so the Anubandha Chatushtaya is the Adhikari, is the Anasuyave. That is Arjun. You have faith. Next is Vishaya. What is the subject matter? Jnana of this pure consciousness. What is the hetu, purpose of telling you this knowledge? Moksha se ashubhat. So from release from inauspiciousness. And then what is the connection between the subject matter and the purpose? Yajnatva, having known. Having known, you will be released. This is what he has promised. And he says it is Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Raja Vidya, I told you, the king among knowledges, because without this knowledge, no other knowledge can be gained. And the other aspect is the one that was told to the kings, because once they follow, then they are administrators. So they will administer the kingdom rightfully, justly. So that is another aspect. Rajaguyam, once again, the best kept secret. Uh, there is a secret, then good, better, best. This is the best. It's pavitram. Pavehe trayate iti pavitra. That which saves you from the fear of the thunderbolt of Indra. But here, that which gives you fearlessness. Abhaya. Abhaya dana. The gift of fearlessness, it said, is the greatest gift. Because this knowledge is going to make you, why is it going to make you fearless? Because you will come to know that you're eternal. The greatest fear we have is of death. So this, if you come to realize that there is no death for you, you will become fearless. That's the greatest fear. Idam uttamam. This is uttam because it, and also this knowledge, then you can use it in your day-to-day life also. We have seen principles of karma yoga, all that we have seen, which we need in our day-to-day life. Pratyaksha avagamam, pratyaksha, directly, which can be directly experienced without the intervention of any other thing. I told you pratyaksha means pratyaksha praman is there where I directly see with my eyes, but no, eyes are dependent on light. Eyes are dependent on the mind also. So this pratyaksha here means not that sort of direct perception, because that direct perception you can never have of the pure self, but you will be able to recognize it without the aid of eyes, light, mind, intellect. You don't need any of these other instruments, which we actually need in getting knowledge of the world. We need eyes, we need nose, everything, the perception we need, but that you won't need. Dharmyam, very righteous knowledge, because this is going to put you path. Susukham, very, very easily attainable. Sukham here is not happiness. Sukham is easy. Easy here, it means easy. So su means very, very, very easy it is to recognize yourself. Kartum avyayam. Avyayam, imperishable. It is imperishable. It is very easily available because actually it is us, na? So we are available to ourselves. Problem is we don't know that we are the self. We think we are the body, mind and that is the problem. Okay. Asha, then what happens? There is a few things that this chapter is going to talk about. So one of the things is of, like, I mean, he's going to talk about creation, reality, etc. But what happens to those who do not have faith in this knowledge? He says, aprapya mam nivartante. What happens to them? If they don't have faith in my teaching, then they do not get me and not Krishna, the pure consciousness. And then what happens? So what if I don't get you? Then you will keep coming back into this samsara of sorrow, which is only sorrow. Buddha himself has said, sarvam kshanikam kshanikam, sarvam dukkham dukkham. Because it is dukkha, you know why? Because it's kshanik. Kshanika is moment to moment, it is fleeting. Moment to moment is changing. And therefore it becomes a cause of sorrow. And then if you don't have faith in this knowledge, then this is what's going to happen. You're going to keep coming back into this world. 4 and 5 are the heart of this chapter. I've told you every chapter has a heart. This chapter itself is the heart of Bhagavad Gita because it's right in the center. But 4 and 5 are the heart of this. And we were on 4. We actually had completed 4. Maya tatam midam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. By me, Maya, by me is pervaded this entire universe in my unmanifest form. The existence principle, we have talked about this. We do not see the principle of existence, but it is recognized by us in the words when we say, this is, that isness is what I am in unmanifest form. And what you see is the name and the form. And because I'm unmanifest, your attention, our attention never goes to that. It's like watching a movie. Do we ever think of the screen when the movie is going on? Do we think, oh, the screen, it's white? We don't. We get caught up in the movie. So it is exactly what is happening here in the world. We are so caught up in the events, things, no, names, forms, happenings, whatever is going around us, that we forget the principle, which is the substratum on which this dance is happening. Even our thoughts are dancing on the substratum of the pure consciousness, but that substratum we never seem to see because there's too much noise, too much this thing. Okay, so this is what he's telling us. Matsthani sarva bhutani. All the so bhuta here, not only manusha, bhuta I told you, bhu bhavati, that which is born. So anything that is born. So trees and plants and reptiles and ants and insects and everybody is in me. They are dependent on me. Nacha aham teshu avastitaha. But I am not dependent on them. I am not in them. And not in them means he is in us. That not, don't take it like that. I am not dependent on them. I told you, appliances are dependent on electricity, but electricity can stay on its own. There is no dependency of electricity on, electricity doesn't depend on the appliances. Okay, we are like the appliances. We cannot function without the pure consciousness. That's why he said Raja Vidya. Without that pure consciousness being within me, how will I talk? How will I get knowledge of whatever that I'm trying to get knowledge of the world? That's why it is the greatest knowledge. Without it, nothing can happen. I am dependent on that pure consciousness. The pure consciousness is not dependent on me. We were up to here. Now, before we go to the next one, 5, everybody has heard of the ocean. Okay, there is water, there is ocean, and in the ocean, there are waves. Simple, simple. We have all seen that. Okay, now, so when the attention of one wave is on another wave, okay, so the one wave is looking at the other wave, what kind of relationship will that wave have? I am bigger than you. I am smaller than you. I am more beautiful. I am, richer. I am poorer. Now, please understand the wave here is an individual. Okay. So when an individual is looking at another individual, there will always be a relationship of competition, jealousy, friendship, enmity. There'll be that sort of relationship. Okay, so now here wave looking at the wave. Now, when the wave shifts its attention to the ocean, okay, wave now is not looking at the wave, but wave is looking at the ocean. Now, what will be the relationship between the wave and the ocean? The ocean is bigger than me. I've come out of the ocean. There'll be a feeling of respect. If I need something, I can ask the ocean because the ocean is more powerful than I am. So when the individual shifts his attention, his or her attention from another individual to Ishvara, who is ocean here, Ishvara, then what happens? Then it is a relationship of, it can be a relationship of surrender. It can be a relationship of begging, but it can never be a relationship of competition. Do you ever compete with Ishvara? Do I go to Tirupati and say how much gold you have and I don't have any half of that what you have? It can't be. It can't be. Okay? So that is the sort of relationship when I start looking at Ishvara. Now, ocean looking at the wave. Now, Ishvara is looking at individual. Ocean is looking at the wave. What sort of relationship will have? My child, my baby, what it is me only. It is part of me. There is no, there cannot be any competition. There cannot be, there will be a sense of oneness. Like I have towards my child, what if I'm looking at my own child or grandchild, what am I competing with them? So I'll have, oh, it's mine. Sarvatma bhava. So when the ocean is looking at the wave, that is the kind of relationship that ocean will have. Now there is water. Now water is looking at ocean and water is looking at the wave. Now what will be the relationship? What ocean? What wave? They're both water only. They're me only. There is nothing other than me. Water is a pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is looking at Ishvara. Pure consciousness is also looking at Jiva. And what is the pure consciousness saying? Just for the sake of it, pure consciousness doesn't say anything. So, moi, it's me. Ishvara is also me. Jiva is also me. All right. So the thing for us to do is now, where would I want to be in this ladder? Do I want to be like the wave, looking at other waves and then every day something or the other? Better than that is to look at Ishvara, look at the ocean, right? Is more powerful. Okay, I need something. I told you this morning also. You want to ask something, you want to beg for something, beg of God. Beg of God, right? Because he's this thing. Okay. Ishvara is looking at me, and it's okay. Ishvara, he will always look at me with compassion, kindness, because I'm his child. I'm his child, right? Will I look at my own child with competition? Oh, I'm going to compete. No, no. And then, so you go upwards. Now, if you go up to the level of Ishvara and look at the world from that eyes, from that standpoint, okay? First standpoint is individual to individual, wave to wave. Then wave to ocean, Ishvara. Now you uplift yourself to Ishvara and look at the world. Now what will you say? They're all mine only, na? Sarvatma bhava, right? Because your vision is that of Ishvara's vision. Think. And then you lift yourself to the vision of the pure consciousness. That is final realization. So once you have that, how will you look at the world? How does water look at ocean? Shall I have ocean? This ocean is bigger than that ocean. This is water, that is water. What big, what small? Wave. That wave is also water. That wave is also water. So when I lift myself to that topmost level, my vision towards the world is going to be what? There's no, they're all my reflections only. No competition, no jealousy, no, nothing, nothing. All right. This is what Bhagwan is trying to achieve here. Vision. It's nothing to do with the body. It's only a uplifting of the mind, the knowledge. Now what he says is, न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरं भूतभृन्न च भूतस्थः ममात्मा भूतभावनः. Nor do beings exist in reality in me. In brackets, Gurudev has put in reality, okay? Behold my divine yoga, supporting all beings, but not dwelling in them, is me, myself, the efficient cause of all beings. Here he's starting with the creation aspect of it, the efficient cause. He's saying cause, I'm the cause, okay? Now, here there are two words, yoga and Aishwarya. Yoga and Aishwarya. See, yoga sthiti is the substratum. Is the substratum. Aishwarya is what? Aishwarya is what you see, na? Aishwarya is what you see. Vibhuti. That's why we have Chinmaya Vibhuti, right? Guruji has made that in Pune. So you see all the greatness, the glory of Gurudev in there. So what he's saying is, Pashyame Yogam Aishwaram. So, Nachamatstani Bhutani. Beings don't exist in me. I am independent of them. But yet you see the what is the Aishwarya? They don't exist in me, but yet you see them. We see the names and forms in the world. That is my Aishwarya. That is my power. That I am the substance. So understand who I really am. Who am I? I'm the water. I'm the substratum. Okay. And in that water, see the dance of the waves. And what is the waves there? Dance of the waves is my Aishwarya. It's mine. Me. And it's really not there. That's why he says, not to be in reality, what are the waves? Water. Okay. But you see the wave. You see the wave dancing up and down. You see the big wave, the small wave, the force of the wave, the speed of the wave. Whatever that you're seeing, and that what you're seeing is my Aishwarya. Even though it is not there, you're seeing it. That's my power. That is my power. Bhuta bhranna cha bhutastaha. But not dwelling in them is me. Again, my Aishwarya is only being seen by you. See the substratum. I am the substratum. And this substratum is not dependent on that Aishwarya that you are seeing, which in reality is not there. In reality, there is no wave. There is only water. So water in that wave is yoga. The wave itself is Aishwarya. So in the world, the substratum, the isness, the existence principle is me, the pure consciousness, and this names and forms that you see all around, millions and millions of them, is my Aishwarya, which in real means what? Means what? World is an illusion. The world is in reality, it is not there, but you see it. I see it, I experience it. I become happy, I become sad. What is the point of telling us this? Look at the substratum. You are that substratum. So why are you getting affected by whatever is happening in the world? It's not there. That's why we have, even this too shall pass. Everything will pass. Okay? This is the highest. This is, you know, these two are the highest verses, highest knowledge here. For the then there must be some sort of an Gurudev has written on top, an existence for the finite and the infinite, right? There is some sort of existence. It is not really real. That is to be understood. The existence of the world is dependent on the pure consciousness. But is that existence of the world really real? And I've told you, what is really real? That which doesn't change in the 3 periods of time. But we see constant change, we are seeing constantly. Even in Bhagavad, now morning is there, afternoon will come, then evening will come, then night will come. Constant change is going on. Season is changing, weather is changing, sky is changing, morning blue, then gray, then dark, then this, then constant change. That is Aishwarya. That change, which is actually not happening, which is not actually affecting me, which has got nothing to do with me, with a capital M. Understand that to be you yourself. Okay. Names and forms, they do not exist at all. And next verse, any questions here? Clear? Clear? Yeah. So it's a matter of raising our own thinking. Raise it. Remind yourself, I am not this body. I am the self. I am the self. Remind yourself. Now he gives an example. Yatha kashasthito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthanithyubhapadharaya. As the mighty wind, moving everywhere, rests always in space, the Akasha, even so, know you, all beings rest in me. An example is given where space now is what? Water. In the ocean, wave and water example, water is space and the waves are the air, is the air. So the air, this wind moves in the space, moves because of space, right? If there was no space, how the wind would move? I've given you many times the example of the hand. The hand can move because of space, but is the space moving with the hand? No. Is the space getting affected because of the movement of the hand? Can I push space away? Air maybe I can push, but am I pushing space when I push my hand towards the camera? No, no. This is I am like that space. I am actually subtler than space, but for us to understand, for our intellect to understand, we need some example from the world. Okay. So space, I am like that space which is holding the air, the wind, and the air is moving because of me. But that movement is not having any effect on me whatsoever. I am not moving because of the wind. If it is a bad odor, I don't have the bad odor. If it's a good smell, fragrance coming, I am not affected by that fragrance. So the substratum, we have got our rope and snake example. The poison in the snake never ever affects the rope. The rope is ever unaffected. The snake is dependent on the rope. The rope never is dependent. The rope has its own existence. It is not dependent on the snake, but the snake cannot have an existence unless the rope was there. This part is very important. Okay. Space, another thing is space cannot be seen. I've told you, space is only inferred. How do we infer it? Because I can accommodate myself in there, or I can accommodate some things. I know there is space, and it is what we see is light. That's why in dark, you don't know whether there is space or not. So what actually we say, I see space, I see an empty space. No, here I'm not seeing an empty space. I'm seeing light, and in that light, I can see that I can accommodate. I can move my hand there. I can keep something over here because there's nothing here. And that nothing also is being supported by pure consciousness, by the fact that I'm saying there is nothing here. Okay. And just like space is not, imagine space is not getting affected, pure consciousness, which is even subtler than space. How can pure consciousness ever get affected by whatever that we are doing? Good, bad, ugly, whatever. It is again same example of the sun. The sun, because in the light of the sun, things happen, but whatever good or bad happens in the light of the sun, that good or bad cannot have any effect on the sun. The sun is not getting merit for good that is happening. The sun is not getting any demerit for a bad that is happening. Both are happening because of the sun, in the light of the sun. Clear? Now, सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकां कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम्. All beings, O Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, go into my Prakriti, nature, at the end of a kalpa. I send them forth again at the beginning of the next kalpa. What is this telling us? Rebirth. What is this telling us? Creation is a cycle. Therefore, there is no starting point. Because in a circle, there is no starting point. So all beings, Sarva Bhutani, so Bhutani, so includes all plants, animals, mineral, everything is included in Bhut. It's not Manusha. He's not using the word Manusha. So it's not just humans. It is all beings. Bhu is to be. Okay. So that which is born, Bhutani, Kaunte, O Kunti, son of Kunti. Kunta means sharp intellect. So here Kaunteya is used. You are of sharp intellect. Please understand that all these prakritim yanti mamikam. So when the total was, we have seen this idea in chapter 8. When all the total vasanas are fulfilled at the end of the kalpa, everything merges back into Ishvara, and Ishvara into the pure consciousness. And there, the gunas remain in balance. As long as sattva, rajas, and tamas are in balance, no creation can happen. And they remain. And kalpakshaya punasthani. Kalpakshaya. Kshaya is destruction, means at the end. Kshaya is destruction, death, kshaya, decay. So kshaya here, end of kalpa. At the end of that kalpa, everybody go punasthani kalpadav. So at the end of the kalpa, everybody comes to me, and kalpa adav, in the beginning, once that kalpa begins, visrujamyaham. So it's At the end of Kalpa, I send them forth again at the beginning of the next Kalpa, right? So this is the theory of creation. And I told you this chapter will talk about creation. How is creation happening? See, the creation is happening because of okay, take the individual first. That'll be easy to understand. And I think some of you have heard this idea, or maybe all of you have heard. Why do I wake up in the morning? Why do you think anybody of us wakes up? We wake up because our vasanas for that day have fructified and they start stirring within us. I've told you this many times. We think that the alarm clock is waking us up. No, it is not. That's why you can put snooze and then you can sleep for another 2 hours sometimes. That's your experience, isn't it? I have done it. You think I've slept only for 5 minutes. Suddenly it's like, oh my God, it's 1 hour already. And I think, oh, just 5 minutes, that is the reason. So when the individual vasanas in an individual start stirring, the person wakes up. Then those vasanas are fulfilled during the day. Whatever vasanas have been fructified, they will fulfill. Today I want to see a movie, that is, or I go to work, or whatever, what action is. Creation happens of that day for that individual. And at night, when the vasanas are exhausted for that day, the person falls asleep. Now, take this at the total level. So at the total level, the totality of the vasanas, this last word here in the mantra, verse, Mamikam, this is what is referring to the total vasanas of all the beings, beings, not humans, because animals also have vasanas. Plants also have some vasanas, very subtle, very, very this thing. So all those vasanas, when they are fulfilled, what happens is the kalpa ends at that point. And then when it ends, do we all get destroyed? No, there is no destruction. Everybody in subtle form merges. And the way it works, how we have in Tattva Bodh, we have studied the hierarchy of creation. First pure consciousness, then Ishvara, then from Maya comes space, air, fire, water, earth. So the earth, while going back, it goes the same way. Earth will go into water, water will go into fire. So what happens is, on earth, there is no rain for 100 years. So the earth then merges, so then there is a fire. It merges into the water. The water is dried by the fire. Fire is blown away by the wind, and the wind merges into space, and then space merges into pure consciousness, into Ishvara, and then into just as the creation happens, it goes backwards. So basically what is happening is there is no final destruction. There is only a laya, like individual sleep. There is a total sleep. And in that, in deep sleep, see, in deep sleep also for us, what is happening is the gunas remain in balance. Tamas is more, but sattva and rajas are then subdued by tamas, right? So sattva, rajas, tamas, when they are in balance in the pure consciousness, there is no creation happening. Now, many years go by, whatever, and then the vasana starts stirring, the total vasanas. So what is happening is, what does it mean vasanas are stirring? Sattva, rajas, tamas, they start, sattva will come, rajas will start poking. When that happens, creation comes about. This is what he's saying. So all the beings go back into me, and at the end, at the beginning of the kalpa, of the next kalpa, I send them all back. That's why this is theory of rebirth. That's why the Charvak school of philosophy is negated here again, that there is no birth. No, there is a birth, but is it a new birth? No, it is the same jiva that is coming back in a different body. This is what he said even in chapter 2. He says, there was not a time when you were not there. There was not a time when I was not there. There was not a time when all these beings were not there, in the form of soul, not body. Body is not going to remain. Okay? Clear? This is very simple. We have seen these ideas before. Prakrutim swamavashtabhya visrujami punah punah bhutagramamimam krishnam avasham prakruter vashat. Animating my prakriti, animating and living it. I, again and again, send forth all these helpless multitude of beings by the force of nature. Okay. Helpless. Why helpless? We are helpless because of the actions that we have done. Okay. So what has happened is all the jivas have done a certain set of actions. Those actions have now created a certain set of vasanas. And now those vasanas control us. That's why we are helpless. That's that push of the vasanas that I have always been talking about, right? So if I have a vasana of eating, then every time I see food, I will want to eat. If I have a vasana of whatever, I want to walk, I want to run, I want to exercise, I want to do this, I want to do that. That is what is pushing. That's why he's saying helpless. They are helpless. In chapter 4, Bhagavan said, I come keeping Maya under my control. Mine is not a helpless birth. Mine is not a forced birth. I am taking birth, keeping Maya under my control. You guys, us, you, not you, me, us guys, it's a forced birth because we have created a blueprint. We have to take birth as per that blueprint. We have to come in that sort of a body. We have to come in a female body, a male body, or whatever body. Then we have to be fair, dark, color of eyes, size of nose, size of height, hair, everything we have drawn the picture already. Now we are helpless. We drew it. So why should I know this? See, if I know that right now I got this birth, I was helpless because of the whatever picture, whatever blueprint that I drew in my past birth, I have control over the present to create a blueprint for my next life. It's my choice. That choice I have. That choice I have. How do I exercise that choice? Is by going against the force of the vasanas. So when the vasanas are telling me, sleep in, sleep in, sleep in, I go against that and do tapas and I wake up in the morning. When the vasanas are telling me, don't do satsang, go for a party, I say, no, scriptures are saying satsang is the first rung of the ladder to go up to moksha. I want to do satsang. That is what is meant by going against the vasana. When your vasanas are pushing you into the external world, if you can control them and bring them back, make it introverted, then you are now creating a blueprint for your next life. You are the master of your destiny. That is why it is said. Why am I the master of my destiny? Whatever has happened in the past, I have no control, but the present is in my hands. I can choose in the present to do what is good and not what is pleasing. The path of the pleasant and path of the good. That is what Arjuna asked. Tell me the path of the good. Don't tell me what is pleasing to me. What is pleasing to your senses is probably taking you downwards. And by downwards, I mean it is making you extroverted because the senses are always looking out and they are getting attracted to things that are out, extroverted. Whereas the intellect, the mind can turn inwards. The mind can go under the control of the intellect and let the intellect then guide the mind. No, this is not correct. You shouldn't be indulging in this. You shouldn't be doing this. You should generally our conscience tells us this thing. So this is what he's saying, animating my prakriti and living in it. How do I enlive in the prakriti? That's what he'll explain next time. So how prakriti is inert. Okay, that's why animating my prakriti means I have to pump life into that prakriti. In Sant Jnaneshwar's verse, he says, prakriti is like the wife, pure consciousness is like the husband. The husband doesn't do any work, but unless he gives permission to the wife, then he says, okay, now go create. His audience was simple. So he just translated it like this. He said the husband is a non-doer. Well, pure conscious is non-doer. So husband doesn't do anything. But wife will not do anything without his permission. So now what to do? Now, prakriti. This is what is meant by animating my prakriti. I tell Prakriti, I enlive in her, I empower her to create. Because Prakriti has got Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. I do not have Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And without Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, creation cannot happen. I've told you this many, many times. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, all three required for anything to be done. I am speaking. I have got tamasic. The vocal cords are tamasic. I need them to speak. The actual speech is because of Rajas. The material of my speech is knowledge. It is coming from Sattva. So if I didn't have the knowledge, then I would be speaking something which is not correct. If I didn't have the vocal cords, I can't even speak. I need all three. So therefore, none of them can ever be absent from us. We have all three. What percentage of it we have? I can sit here and I can speak about movies. Then what happens? Then what is predominant? Rajas. There is sattva knowledge there, but it is of the external world, no? Sattva is there, but it's now this thing. Rajas is more. So animate, I again and again. So that's why rebirth, cycle, again and again is what? If it is a straight line, means it will end there. No, it is a circle. So again and again, like a hamster, goes round and round. Again, send forth all these helpless beings. Us, we are helpless. Okay, by the force of nature. Understood? Clear? Any
Jayaji, I have
questions?
a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we speak about someone who is realized, we say that there's no rebirth for them, right? Because they've recognized themselves. So does that mean every cycle there are fewer and fewer jivas being reborn, or how does that work?
Okay. The thing is, yeah, they realize they got this thing. But what is happening is so many of the lower yonis are coming up into human birth, right? And then so number of jivas, like number of human beings, all those jivas are progressing because ultimately they say every jiva will this thing, but not in this kalpa, right? So there are jivas who are progressing from insect into dog, into, higher births, and they will come into jivas. If you believe in horoscopes, they actually tell you what you were in your past birth. In one of the horoscopes I know, they said, though you were a horse in the last birth, they said. That's very true. It could be, I mean, we don't know for true, but Bhagavad Gita, scripture is saying that the
But
jiva can go, just like jiva can come up, jiva can go down also.
but they do say not in this kalpa, but eventually.
Eventually, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want in this kalpa only, then you have to work hard. See, we saw that in chapter 8 also. Time, like, see, a person, a child, if they say skip a grade, right? There are children who they say, oh, he's very intelligent, so let him skip grade 1, let him go into grade 2 from kindergarten. So we can also progress like that on the spiritual path. If we decide, we can shorten the time. Everything is in our hands, right? So if I do intense tapas, studying and that's why all of us Swamijis, they've given up the world and gone there, right? So they're intensifying their studies and they are trying to shorten the time of their life here. That can be done. That
Do
can
they
be.
say what happens after that kalpa? The kalpa where everything kind of.
Merges, everything remains in balance. Like the fourth yuga. Kalpa is what? 4 yugas. We are in the 4th yuga now. Kalpa yuga, Kali yuga is the 4th one. So after this, everything will go. It will be the night of Brahmaji. He will go to sleep. Everything will now merge after this. We've got more than 4 lakh years to go. Kali Yuga it's the shortest yuga. It's the most adharmic yuga. At the end of it, Kalki is going to come and then the whole world will now merge. And if that's why in Vivek Choramani, Bhagwan says, you got a human birth, try to get out of this cycle in this birth only. That's why it is said. But at least we can try. That's all is in our hands is trying. Okay. Clear? Okay. Helpless. I like that word. Helpless multitude of beings by the force of nature here. Prakriti here is your vasanas. Huh? Prakriti is vasanas. So that vasanas are pushing you to take a particular type of birth and behave in a particular type of way. Next. न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु. These acts do not bind me, O Dhananjaya, sitting like one in different, unattached to those acts. What acts? Because what he said in the earlier one, by animating is a verb. So that is the action. What is, because he said, I am the one they merge into, and I, by animating Prakriti, push this helpless multitude of beings into the world. Okay. Now what he's saying is, but these acts, they do not bind me. Why? Because I'm unattached. I'm not doing it out of ego. Why? How does karma bind us? Because I think I am doing, then that I, which is the jiva, which is the ego, gets bound. Whereas when Bhagwan does it, there is no binding to him. O Dhananjay, Dhananjay is one of the names of Arjun because Dhana is wealth. Uh, he was the one who was collecting the most wealth for the Pandavas. So that's one meaning. Objectively speaking, because he was the one that was going to war all the time. And then whenever they won over another kingdom, then all that wealth came here. So that is one meaning. And then also wealth of knowledge. See, there is one material wealth, money, but then there is wealth, which is knowledge. So Dhananjay, Bhagwan is saying, now I am giving you the knowledge. So you are wealthy that way also. So he's referring to him. And he says, Udasina, like one indifferent asina, ut asina. We have seen this word udasina. The break is ut asina. Ut is above. Asina sitting. So I'm sitting above. Means I'm not attached to whatever. Already what he said was, I am not attached to, the names and forms do not affect me. So this also, he says, is not affecting me. Because I'm unattached. So what is the takeaway for us? For this, what is happening to us as individuals? We are getting bound by all our actions. Whenever I do an action, thinking that I am the one that is doing it, it is creating a groove in my vasana level. Gurudev used to, call it, previously we used to have records. I mean, now nobody, I don't know if young people even know what a record is. But previously we used to have those LPs, long playing records, and there was the groove there. There should be groove and the needle will go around in the groove and then the music will come. So that groove is what we are doing by repeating those actions. Like I like to do something, so I keep on doing that. So what I'm doing is I'm deepening that groove. And so what happens in the next birth, that vasana is so deep that next, I've given you, suppose if I have a friend who's like, who can only think of movies. He lives, eats, drinks, thinks, talks, only movies. Now what he's doing is he's creating that groove so strong that next birth he will be born as an actor only, as an actor's family or some movie family. It has to be like that. That is what this is. But what Bhagwan, so Bhagwan is saying, I'm Ut Asina. I do not get bound. So how do I not get bound? Is by not getting attached to those actions as well. That is the takeaway here. Actions bind only when I take credit for them. Doership and enjoyership is what is binding us. It is not the action itself. Action by itself is inert. Action has no power to bind me. But when I bring that small I in there, I am the one that is teaching. I am the one that is doing this, and I will enjoy the fruits of this action. Then that small I gets bound. Ego gets bound there. That is what binding is. So if I'm Ut Asina, and how do I become Ut Asina is by following the principles of Karma Yoga. Sense of duty, detachment, prasad buddhi, samatvam, You remember the 5 principles of Karma Yoga? Every action to be done as a duty. Every action to be done with samatvam, equanimity. Every action to be done with asangatva, means detached from the doership aspect of it and detached from the result of it also, the enjoyership also. Then surrender, Ishwararpitam buddhi, like surrender to a higher altar. I'm doing it for my master. I'm doing it for my guru. I'm doing it for God. I'm doing it for my baby child, my child. Some higher altar, higher, baby also can be a higher altar. Okay, baby also. And the last one is prasad buddhi. Whatever result that comes, I will accept. That is what is meant by udasina. So Bhagwan is not attached. For him, there is no duty also. But he is not attached to whatever is being done. And therefore, he doesn't get bound. So the takeaway for us is, what should I do? I should be like Bhagwan. If Bhagwan is Utta Asina, sitting above, I should also sit above. What is the take? See, we have to understand. See, the law of karma is incontrovertible. Look at Gurudev's commentary. As the action, so the reaction. How do I avoid that reaction? How do I avoid? If the self administers the dissolution and supervises the projection of the pluralistic world, how far does the law of karma shackle the infinite? That's why Bhagavan is saying the law of karma doesn't bind me. Why? Because I have no doership and I have no enjoyership. So if we do the same, it will not bind us either. Okay? Bondage is from doership. If there is doership, enjoyership follows. So don't worry about the enjoyership. Give up the doership. And the giving up of doership can be done by doing it, every action, as a sense of duty. This is my duty to eat. This is my duty to do. This is my duty to speak. This is my duty to work. If you bring that aspect of duty in everything that you do, your doership will slowly, slowly reduce. The ego is then getting liquefied because we have a very strong ego. Well, I did it. People should, Any questions? Is everybody understanding this properly? No questions? Law of karma we have talked. Yes, Neil. Yeah, you have to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah. In working, because we're Grasta, in working, sometimes we don't know, our duty isn't well defined at work, and so sometimes you do your duty, but you're not sure if it is yours to do, and maybe sometimes leadership isn't there or something. So I guess, how do you get clarity in that? And so you don't feel guilty about doing something that is not.
Okay.
It's still uh, the the purpose is good, but maybe the duty belongs to somebody else or something. So.
Okay. I'll tell you one thing. Any action which leaves a sense of guilt or pride, both, huh? There can be pride also, na? I did this. Any that after effect, that residue, if it remains in your mind, then understand that it is binding you. Okay. So at work, the other aspect is, we had a written thing only. This is what you're responsible for. So I'm not really sure this thing. But suppose if you do something extra to help somebody else, it's okay. It's okay. A friend needs help. So you can help. You're going beyond your 9 dots, and that's fine at work. But it should not leave vanity or guilt. That should not happen. If it is happening, then you know that the ego is at play. So you just help, and then it's okay. There's nothing, oh Lord, thank you because you gave me the capacity to help. See, even to help somebody, you have to have the capability, no?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
If there is
Yeah.
work to be done, you should be strong enough to do the work, or you should have the knowledge to tell them, okay, this is how this is to be done. So you do it, but don't take ownership of it. If you
Mhm.
take ownership, there will be guilt or this thing. If you're feeling, sometimes people say, why should I work extra? Are they going to pay me?
Mhm.
That is wrong.
Mhm.
In a work situation, if sometimes you have to work more than what your allotted hours are, then do it. And if it
Mhm.
is getting too much, then you can tell your boss that, what, it's really, I have got small children at home, or I've got some other things to do, and this is not happening.
Mhm. Okay.
So whatever you do should not leave any guilt in your mind.
Mhm.
Oh, I shouldn't have done it. That sort of feeling.
Okay. Yeah, it's I guess the definition, how they have scope of work and
Yeah.
definition of yeah, areas to do and things like that. Sometimes that I think I brought it up before, but gray areas. So it's
Gray areas. So if
yeah.
you feel comfortable doing it, if you have the time, like don't say, I've finished the scope on my work and there's 1 more hour left, but I'm just going to sit and do nothing. If you can go help, it's okay.
Hmm.
Just go help.
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
what I
It's
mean?
that.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes our work we can finish in less time, na?
Hmm.
We can finish in less time than what others might take. And if you can help, then you just help.
Hmm. Yeah. It's that not being attached to it and
Yeah,
the
don't be attached.
ego.
Don't
Yeah.
expect any reward. The rewards will
Mhm.
come.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Okay.
rewards
Yeah.
will
So leadership sometimes or management, they don't always have those. It's not always clear. So it's it is what it is.
as long as you know clear in your head.
Mhm. Yes.
Any other questions? So next Sunday, like I said, there will be no class. Those who are in the chanting class, the Wednesday class will go on. Okay, so Wednesday remains 7:30, and Friday no class, Sunday no class, and Monday no class. And this tomorrow also there is no class. We'll be starting the new text after I come back in February. Okay, all right. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्ति भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ हरि ओम everybody